Right, hey people. I just got back from work. Well, I drove back. Been starting driving this week. I've got all my mum's insurance up in my car, so I've been like, that's beside the point. Right. Thought I'd do another collection thing today. Thought after talking a little bit of the last few days and that, I thought I'd do something, well, not anime based, but if you're into anime, you probably have checked some of this out as well. And it's more like Asian influence cinema. So this is like a lot of Japanese, Korean films that I've acquired over the years. And some of them are quite famous, and you probably all have seen them. If not, you've seen some of the kind of remakes that they've made in America anyway. Hopefully this can be done in one part, I'm hoping. Could not be. Knowing me, I tend to waffle. Right, first thing. This is Kung Fu Hustle. Stephen Chow film. Now, this is a really fun film. It's got some great, weird, stupid effects and great fighting scenes. Very OTT. It's very like special effects driven. So if you're not into like these really big special effects films, though it does pass, it's basically taking the piss out of them, to be fairly honest, more than actually doing it. Maybe, but most of it's really good. What I was really annoyed about was he was a producer on the Dragon Ball Evolution movie, and that sucked balls. Well, it was funny. I found it funny because it was so bad. It's like watching Street Fighter. I can get through Street Fighter just by Raul Julia. The funny thing is, I saw that in the charts this week in Asda. It's number 2 on the Blu-ray chart. I laughed my ass off. Street Fighter. Second one. Audition. Meet the Takeshi film. My god, is that film messed up. Don't go into it thinking it's going to be this nice little thing. It's all about a man who secretly, through a TV show or a film audition, tries to find his wife for him. And basically, she says yes in the end. This is only about halfway through, this is not really spoiling much. But she says you can't love anyone else but her, including his son. And then shit goes down and it's very freaky. It's just, you really have to watch it yourself, but it is freaky as hell. Alright. Okay, this is Infernal Affairs. Now, if you've not heard of this, you've probably seen the remake. The remake was called The Departed. It had Leonardo DiCaprio and it had Jack Nicholson and Matt Damon and loads of people in it. It was a really, really good remake. But the original is just as good. And in fact, most of the scenes are fairly... You could put them up together and they're basically the same. There's very little difference between it apart from maybe the characterization a bit, which I somewhat preferred in the American release. Maybe just because I can relate to it more. Alright. Now everyone has to see this as their fighting fan. This is Ong Bak. This is Muay Thai fighting at its very, very best. Now I haven't got the second one, but I will be trying to scout that out on the cheap. But this one is really good. If you're into really good action films, you like your Bruce Lee films, your old Jackie Chan films, scout this one out because it is really good. But whatever you do, do not put it on the English dub if you get the British version. It's all in Cockney, unless you're like really drunk and fancy a laugh. Which, well, could be. Speaking of Jackie Chan. Alright, Drunken Master. Now this is an awesome film. This is Jackie Chan when he was like first starting out. Really, really good film. All about him learning all the stages of Drunken Master and doing all these intense training methods and that. And then it's just like comedic fighting as well because it's like, well, Drunken Master. But if you've never seen it, that's a really good film. Then there's Revenge of the Drunken Master, which my sister's boyfriend actually bought for me at Christmas, and yet I've not actually watched it yet. So I'm not going to comment. I used to be like one of these people that would be quite influenced by other people's opinions, but really and honestly, I like to make up my own mind. Now, I'm not going to give you a review of anything unless I've actually watched it or played it or something. I just don't think that's fair. I think everyone's different and your opinion is your opinion. Oh, I'm missing one. I may pause this near the end and get out this box set near the end, just to warn you. Right. This is Battle Royale, the collector's edition. Now this is one of my favourite films of all time. It's a brilliant film. They kind of took the concept, I think, and worked it into The Condemned, which was with Steve Austin in that. But it's like 30 school children are sentenced to an abandoned island. Each has an explosive strapped to a necklace which they cannot take off. And they have 3 days to kill every single person until one person lives. And that person gets to leave. It was done to really show how societal, how the school, how extreme, like, how you police, how bad schools are at the moment. And they're talking society and that, and because it was all televised as well, and there was a lot of stuff. I'd love to read the book of this, actually. I know my flatmate, well, my old flatmate, Dwayne, used to had it. He had all the manga as well, and if you read that, that's totally messed up. It's even worse than the flipping film. But alright, then we've got the sequel. This is Battle Royale 2, which I actually really quite liked as well. It's not half as good as the first one, but it's definitely a great watch. There was a collector's edition of that, but I never picked it up. I got that kind of like at release because I was such a big fan of the first one. But it's not a bad film at all. It really isn't. I'd say it kind of follows parts of it, and then it has its own little message at the end of it. But it's definitely still a good film. This I showed on my 360 collection. This is Hard Boiled. Now, this is one of the best action films ever made. It's awesome. There's Chow Yun-fat just shooting the shit out of everything. It's just so stylized and great action scenes. There's a great little story. There's a scene in this where there's not an edit. There's an action scene goes on for 3.5 minutes without a camera edit. It's a full running camera. And the choreograph that must have took forever, but it's so worth it when you actually see it. Alright. Oh, I've mixed these up a little bit. Right. This is Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance. This is the start of the Vengeance trilogy. This is a set of 3 Korean films, which the middle one I think everyone has seen. But the other 2, maybe the 2 bookends, they haven't. They don't actually relate in like story-wise, apart from maybe the fact that they all have to do with vengeance. And the first one actually is really good, so I would check it out as well. It's all about how different people have to do desperate things, and he kidnaps a girl, a principal's daughter, or somebody's daughter, so he can ransom him for money so he could pay for his sister's operation, because when he did it, he just got the kidney stolen and beat the crap out of. And it's like different movements of that, and it has other people's side stories come into it, which is actually really good. I'm going to have to speed this up. Really, really good film. Seven Samurai, Akira Kurosawa, classic film. Classic for being like flipping 3 hours and 10 minutes long though. All in black and white. It is one of the best films. It's been remade into The Magnificent Seven in a western. It was remade into an anime, which was also really good. It was Samurai 7, I think. I saw a bit of it actually. It was really good. It was just very well animized and over OTT. But a set of 7 people, 7 samurai warriors having to defend a village, and they are only paid in rice because that's all the villagers can actually afford, so they're starving themselves to give these samurai people food to defend themselves from this village, and it's a really, really good story. And this is the one that everyone has seen, the Vengeance trilogy. This is Old Boy. Everyone has to have seen this. If you haven't, find it now. It is one of the best films come out of Korea ever. It's all about how this guy wakes up in a room. He's been trapped there for 3 years. I think his wife was killed. And he's gone out, he's met this woman who wants to help him, and he has to find out who did this to him in a certain amount of time. Except the guy and everything, it's all to do with like his past history, what he did in the past. But there's some great action scenes, some great bit, and the twist at the end will fuck with you. But alright, I think, yeah, we're going to have to do a second part, so I'll see you then. This Evil Sloth Man, out.